Thokozani, Thokozani, Ninjani. Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing? Thokozani, hey Sandra, Marjorie, Rebecca, Thokozani. Thank you for coming on. Let us have school. School will be in session very soon. How's everyone doing? It's Malebo. Malebo, how are you? How's everyone doing? Kelly, Z, Shakira. Yo, there's some people I don't know. Togoza Sandra, thank you for the love. Thank you for the flowers. Togozani, everybody, thank you for coming on. And welcome. We are squarely in the season of Maat. Umtetokazi, Maat. In Zulu, it's Umtetokazi. In Sesotho, it's Mamlao. So I wanted us to talk about Maat because this is a very important season we're going into. And I wanted to also use this opportunity to differentiate for you between the age of Maat and the season of Maat, right? And tell you all the beautiful things that can align you with Maat, so that you are in alignment. Bagwantu, melanated beings, 9 ether beings. Alignment is everything for us at this time. We are now, if you look at global affairs, you can see that we are in the frenzy of a spiritual war that requires us to be grounded. And Ma'at is the very foundation of grounding. It is a firm foundation upon which you can build your life. Because why? You're seeking to be in alignment within yourself so that you are not blown hither and thither by these winds of change. Lots of winds of change. And you want to be that tree that's grounded, that's rooted, right? Because a tree that is not firmly planted and rooted, it'll blow this way, it'll blow that way. If it's not firmly rooted, it will be uprooted. And yeah, we know the story. So thank you so much for coming on, guys. Please tap the screen. Let's get this up into the algorithm. Togoza Lulama, Togoza LQ, Togozani, I'm so grateful you're here. The Haitian healer, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you guys. Diaspora ambassador, yes, the goddess herself is in the house. We have to talk about Ma'at. We've just come out of the season of Set, but I want to contextualize things so that you are able to literally understand more clearly, so that you're able to understand very clearly how all of these energies and frequencies and principles work. So you see me all in purple. Why? Because the color for Ma'at is this royal purple color. And of course, the season of Ma'at came in on July the 23rd, and it's going to run all the way July 23rd to August 22nd. So we're right at the beginning of the season of Ma'at. I would have come in earlier, but yeah, duty. So her stone is amethyst. I wish I had brought it closer, but yeah, her stone is the amethyst. And we also know that the amethyst is associated with, people know their crystals, your third eye. So that's how you can align yourself with Ma'at. Have some amethyst around, dress in royal purple. This is the color of royalty. Her metal is platinum. Now, I don't know anybody got some platinum jewelry, but if you do, rock that platinum jewelry. This is the time. Her scent or incense is frankincense. So if you just want to raise your energy and the energy around you to the frequency of Ma'at, just burn some frankincense either as an incense stick, or you can get, I actually like the frankincense, they look like crystals type things, granules, I don't know what they call them. But yeah, I prefer those myself. So her tree is papyrus. This is the papyrus right here, okay, on the cloth. And I'm actually wearing her Kemetic cloth, the cloth of Ma'at. I'm gonna, yeah, I love this. I love our Kemetic clothing because, like I said, it's just one way in which we can use different items to align ourselves with a particular season, so that you're consciously living intelligently, aligning yourself with this energy and frequency, so that as a spirit having a human experience, that spiritual alignment assists your human experience to elevate, right? So how does Ma'at help us, and who is Ma'at, right? Let's go there. Well, Ma'at is the goddess of truth. She's the goddess of justice, the feminine frequency, feminine energy frequency, goddess of truth. She's the goddess of justice. She's the goddess of law and order. She is the goddess of balance. She is the goddess of harmony. So those are the 5 attributes of Ma'at, if you want to keep them, if you want to learn them. And the key thing with all of this is understanding this. All these energies and principles which we live by on the African calendar, they are within you. They are within you. We all have a bit of Jehuti. We all have a bit of Thoth. Thoth is Jehuti. We have a bit of Set, the destroyer. We have a bit of Ma'at. We have a bit of Sekhmet. We have a bit of Anpu. These energies and principles are literally a description of who you are as spirit. Now, why then do I say I am Sekhmet if I embody all these energies? It means that at a particular season, if I was born in that season, say of Sekhmet, that is going to be the predominant frequency where my spirit vibrates, and therefore I will manifest more of Sekhmet's attributes than I would of a Ma'at. Right. You might say, what are those attributes? Well, for example, I'll give you Ma'at. Let me tell you about Ma'at, because I have several friends who are Ma'at, and my mom is Ma'at. These people are very organized. My mother comes to my home, and look, she's taken a 16-hour flight from Zimbabwe, but she comes into my home the next day or the day after. My mother is cleaning out closets. My mother is arranging and organizing. I have a childhood friend. She's a spiritual sister as well. We've known each other since we're 11. And ever since I've known her, and even now in our adulthood when she visits, one of the things she'll do when she comes is, while we are chatting, she will go to my dresser and she'll start arranging my fragrances. Like, these people are order. And any type of chaos, even in the living environment, you can tell that it unsettles them. You also find that in the job, for example, this friend of mine, she has a job which is administrative, but also requires a very methodical approach to doing things. She's very good at putting systems in place. System A will feed system B, will feed system C. It will feed back round in a loop and go back to... She's excellent at that. She's a true Ma'at. She does not like injustice. So even in her job and the various positions she's taken, she's often gotten into a lot of trouble because she won't stand for injustice for herself, but she won't stand for injustice amongst her co-workers. She's very fair in how she treats her subordinates. Anyone who's ever worked under her loves and adores her. And many people, when she leaves a job for another, they literally cry because she's very fair. So that is the character of Ma'at for you. So what is the story of Ma'at? Ma'at is the daughter of Ra, the sun god. Now, in the creation story, remember, I'll say it over and over again, our ancestors used these stories to make this esoteric information accessible even to the farmer, even to the little child. So these energies and principles were represented as human beings. You'll often see Ma'at as a woman. Obviously, she's carrying an ankh and she has wings sometimes. And then she has this feather in her head. And in her other hand, she carries the scales. We will get to that. Remember I said balance, law and order, justice? Right. Stick with me. So the sun god Ra at the beginning of creation, when he came from the primeval waters of Nun, what in isiZulu we call ukhulukhulwane. Before he came from that mound which he sat up on, he set Ma'at. He put his daughter Ma'at. Now, who is the counterpart of Ma'at? The counterpart, if you like, of Ma'at, or what they would say the mate or the husband of Ma'at, is Jehuti. Now, I want you to follow closely because this is really important for you not to miss. The sun god Ra rises on the mound. Before he sets fully on the mound, he puts Ma'at, law and order. Then he has Jehuti. Jehuti is who? Jehuti is the mouthpiece of Ra who communicates. So after that, any word or command that came from Ra went out through Jehuti, his mouthpiece, and Ma'at laid the order in which things happened. I want you to understand, close your eyes and imagine your body and you being knitted in your mother's womb. In order for your eyes to be in the right place, it's Ma'at. She lays the order after Jehuti gives the command from Ra. Your limbs, your legs, your fingers, your eyebrows, your eyelashes, everything to be in the right place follows the laws of Ma'at. I will do a follow-up live so that I don't overload you. But Ma'at is really quite profound. And it's so important to understand Ma'at because in so many ways, understanding Ma'at is understanding your being. It's understanding the core of your being in terms of how you were created and in terms of how creation was laid out. So I'll do a live where I will come and talk about the different parts of your body and which principle of Ma'at is responsible for that aspect of your physical anatomy. Isn't that cool? So now, Ma'at was laid so that the chaos that was in the waters of Nun could somehow calm down so that order could be created, so that creation could happen out of that chaos and disorder. This is why Ma'at season follows the season of Set. The season of Set is the season of destruction, of disorder, of chaos. Ma'at then comes so that all that chaos and all that disorder and destruction can be put back into place. Not back the way things were, but that a new order is put into place, right? New harmony, a new balance. So think about the age of Pisces, right? I said I was wanting to distinguish between the age of Set, which was the age of Pisces, the age of Ma'at, which was the age of Aquarius, which is the age of Aquarius, which we're coming into. So in terms of the age, I've described again, when we talk about an age, we're talking about a 2000 plus. When I say 2000 plus, I think it's 2,700 and something years of a certain energy or frequency on the planet. This has come to an end. And our ancestors used to mark this using the pyramids and using the golden sphinx. And at every age, they would create another one of these huge monuments to mark that particular age. And it would take them forever to create this. But 2,000 years is a long time. And, you know, they had it. They had the technology to create those pyramids and to create what we call the Great Sphinx. We now know that they used sound technology, cymatics, to lift huge blocks in order to create those things that they created, right? Now we are in the age of Aquarius. We are now at the helm or at the beginning of another 2,000 plus age. And astrologers can map this and predict what is happening based on these stars. You'd have to visit the Dogon people of Mali to really understand this stuff, because they are the master astrologers of this entire planet. Your current astronomers and astrologers have based a lot of the work that they do on the work done by the Dogon. And even then, the Dogon has kept a lot of things secret, which is why they don't like foreigners visiting them, because they have understood the mission. Right? So, now, here are these laws of Ma'at. And these laws of Ma'at, remember I said they are innate. They are the laws that also governed how communities lived, how kings ruled, how families lived, and how you as an individual lived. The laws of Ma'at were actually very responsible for the organization of society, right? So these, I call them laws when we apply them to community, kingdoms, societies, etc. I will call them confessions when we apply them to yourself. Why? Because the laws of Ma'at being ingrained in you means that you as a spirit having a human experience know and have the code of how to behave within you. This is why there were no jails, Mandulo, guys. This is why we didn't have prisons. This is why we didn't have punitive things that happened to people, because everybody self-policed. We didn't have police departments back then. There was no need. You policed yourself. But then if you failed to police yourself, well, the community knew very well what the laws of Ma'at were, and the community would bring you into order. So our existence as supreme beings having this human experience was governed by internal laws, because it was understood that as a spirit you came into this realm with everything you needed to live right. To live right according to your purpose and your destiny, and to live right in terms of how you interacted with your neighbor, how you interacted within your community, within your family, and so on. Right? So these laws of Ma'at were literally the basis of what we might call the first constitution in the world. The laws of Ma'at. So when you hear Africans, you hear especially people like Mkhulu Nsingiza from the Great Empire of Kemet talking about how we need to Sankofa. We need to go back and find out how our ancestors lived prior to colonization. And when he says the first constitution, he's talking about this foundational knowledge of the laws of Ma'at. They are complete in terms of how governance can move forward. Right? Now, understand too that your 10 commandments from that book were actually plagiarized from the laws of Ma'at. And those 10 commandments came millennia, thousands of years after the laws of Ma'at. And these laws were discovered in the tomb of Anu. They are actually part of what we call the book of coming forth by day. which palm-colored creatures, again, they're always obsessed with the negativity. They called it the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Why? Because they found it in a tomb. The fact that they found it in a tomb doesn't mean that it was simply a funerary text or a text that was used at burials. No. It was found in these tombs because, again, the way in which our ancestors buried was that you were buried with things of importance. You were buried with the things you liked to eat, the music you enjoyed. Everything was put with you to comfort and assist you on your onward journey as a spirit. Because remember, death was just a rite of passage. It was you exiting this physical, limiting body and then going on a journey so that you could renew yourself, i.e. reincarnate and come back in a new body. So you were given all your things that you liked. You were given, these principles, these laws, so that you could progress where you were going into the Duat, basically, with everything that you needed. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's bring it back now to us and our contemporary thing. I mean, we are trying to live this spiritual thing, right? Spirituality is a lived experience, guys. And so as I'm talking to you, all I'm doing to you is literally igniting your DNA memory, because all this is within you. I'm not teaching you anything that is outside of yourself. So there are 42 principles, or what we call 42 negative confessions of Ma'at, right? These are negative confessions because you have to be able to say, I have not robbed with violence. I have not stolen. I have not made any to suffer pain. I have not defrauded offerings. I have done no murder, nor bid anyone to slay, i.e. to kill, on my behalf. I have not trimmed the measure. I have not spoken lies. I have not caused the shedding of tears. Now there are 42 of them. I'm going to put them up on the video as a picture, right? Why are they like this? Because in truth, you are supposed to be living in fairness without murder. So now when you do these negative confessions, you're affirming that you are fair, that you are just, that you bring harmony, that you bring balance, that you bring order. Now, these negative confessions are not to be taken lightly. I think many of you who follow me have heard me say this before, probably last year and the year before. Please do not do Ma'at's negative confessions if you know full well in your soul, in your heart, that you have done the things that you are saying you're not doing. What people don't understand, the difference between religion and spirituality is, religion, you can faff around, there are no consequences. With spirituality, family, there are consequences. You cannot profess with your mouth what is untrue and expect to get away with it. You may get away with it, or you think you're getting away with it in the interim. Besides, who are you trying to lie to? Because you're doing these confessions to yourself. This is not church where you have to come up and proclaim that you're saved and denounce your sins. It's not like that. This is you and you. This is you and your higher self. So exactly who will you be trying to lie to by saying you didn't do things which you know you do on a daily basis? You're trying to fool who? Your higher self. Because there's no external deity that's waiting with a rod to whip you. So who are you lying to? Do you see what freedom is when we talk about authentic freedom, family? Authentic freedom is that space and place where you can be totally yourself with yourself. Nobody's busy minding you in spirituality. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, we saw it. You cannot stand and say, I have not fornicated when you know full well that you're a fornicator. We don't care. Because we're too busy, each person too busy minding their own hokoso. You're minding your own. So these 42 confessions are for you and you alone. These are the guiding principles by which you can live your life. And nobody's policing you. You're policing you. Anpu, your conscience, discernment is policing you. Right? And also remember in spirituality, yes, there is no right and wrong in terms of retribution. There's no you doing wrong and somebody's coming after you with a whip. No. There is the understanding of duality. That is why we talk about balance and harmony. We are always in this continuous and constant dance with trying to get that balance. Nobody's ever totally evil or totally good. Those two extremes are too extreme to exist. We are somewhere in that middle where we're trying to balance these scales of Ma'at within ourselves and create harmony and create order. You can't be all bad and expect not to be chaotic. You lose your mind. You can't be all good and expect not to be chaotic either. It doesn't exist. Because as a human as a spirit having a human experience, how are you going to be perfect? You're a human having you're a spirit having a human experience. And what is the human experience? The good, the bad, and the ugly. So how, if you are a spirit having a human experience, are you going to put yourself in a cage somewhere and just sit there so that you can be good? You'll simply come back to redo those lessons that you ran away from and sat in a cage. We are here to experience. We are here to grow. And the more experiences you have, I'm not saying go out seeking negative experience. Guys, life is hard enough without you going to actively going to seek negative experiences. These negative experiences are a part of life. The key thing is, as spirit, do you have the discernment? Do you have Ma'at in you to understand that you are here to learn from those negative experiences, as well as to learn from the positive experiences? A lot of people struggle with this. But here, I'll put it to you very simply. We talk about duality. How do you know there's darkness? Or how do you know there's light? How do you know that there is happiness and that there is sorrow? How do you know that there is peace? And how do you know that there is turmoil? In order for you to know and experience light, you have at some point have to have experienced dark. That is where the contrast is. How will you distinguish that what you're experiencing is joy, is happiness, if you've never known sorrow? How do you know to experience that I'm living right, I'm doing right, if you've never experienced what it feels like to do wrong? So I want this Ma'at season is so important because this is the time where we really want to decolonize our minds and vomit the toxin of religion so that we are living authentically as spiritual beings. Understand nobody's coming to judge you. Understand even in your final days, no God is coming to judge you. There's no Satan who are coming to judge you. Okay, can you guys hear me? Just give me some hearts if you can hear me, because I've put these back on. They've charged. Please just tap, tap, tap the screen. I want to make sure that everybody... Good, we're on. So this is the season. Guys, we are going... Like, look, where we are going now, we're going to need to know who we really are. And this foundation is so important in terms of Ma'at. Understand that there's no one coming to judge you. There is no external God or spirit that is coming to say you did wrong. There is no hellfire where you're going to be tossed and sauteed and you know, there is no heaven with its many mansions and many rooms where you're going to be told, oh, you good and faithful servant, come and live here and lay your chest on your head on the bosom of Abraham. All that stuff is so creepy. Ooh, there's none of that. What you have to understand is everything that is out there in the universe is within you. As above, so below, as within, so without. Notice how when you are chaotic on the inside, you create a lot of chaos around you. As within, so without. Your work, your purpose as a spirit being having a human experience is to continuously create resonance between the cosmos and yourself. As a collective, our collective responsibility is to create resonance between the cosmos and our collective self, which is why our collective consciousness is so important. But the collective consciousness is only as powerful as the individuals within that collective. Am I making sense? Therefore, if we as individuals of the collective are not doing work, we weigh down those in the collective who are doing the work. Not only that, we weigh down the cosmos. That's how powerful we are. When we create resonance with the cosmos, then the things that we are manifesting, our land back, authentic freedom, the removal of colonialists from our lands, the destruction of the system that has enslaved us for centuries, when we create that resonance and we're manifesting of one heart, one mind, one soul, one emotion as a collective, we don't have to do anything but watch this thing crumble. And it already is. In order for you to create that resonance, harmony, balance, justice, order, truth. Know yourself and to thy own self be true. And it wasn't Socrates. That is a Kemetic proverb. Them Greeks stole a whole bunch of stuff and called it theirs. All the stuff Plato said this. Nonsense. If you go to old Kemetic texts, you will find all those sayings. Palm-colored creatures are just thieving lemons. Now, this is the information they never wanted you to find. This is the information they never wanted you to know. Why? Because, what did I say? This is ultimate freedom. You are God and Goddess unto yourself. You self-govern. Everything you need is within you. You are a self-determining spirit that has knowledge of why you came into this incarnation, that has knowledge of your purpose in this incarnation and beyond. You just got to tap in. And these principles of Ma'at assist you in harmonizing light and dark, in harmonizing good and bad, in harmonizing hot and cold. Homeostasis, your entire body's cooling or heating mechanism is based on Ma'at. All your hormonal systems with their feedback and the balance of hormones. Okay, it's nighttime, melatonin is secreted. Okay, less of the adrenaline so that you can fall asleep. Ma'at does that. Your cycle, your menstrual cycle, now you are ovulating and your body's feeling some type of way. And then before you know it, some of us felt it and still feel it. When your little egg is traveling down the fallopian tube for 2 weeks and then there's no implantation and boom, your menses come. Ma'at has laid the law for all that. So when you are not in balance physically, maybe you're eating off, you have high inflammation, you've accumulated a lot of mucus, you are not in Ma'at. You got to go back to finding the balance. Right? So Ma'at is really, it's the foundation of everything that was created, because everything that was created follows a certain natural, universal law and order. That is encompassed in the principles of Ma'at. So, on that note, I will say, happy Ma'at season. Now, I wanted to say something because we came out of this season of Set. And a lot of people are still reeling from Set. Remember, Set is always with us. I've always said that. It becomes intense during Set season, just as it was intense during the age of Set, right? The age of Pisces. However, Set is always with us. That is why we say Set can be used as your stepping stone to elevate. Because as a spiritual being, you're always called to elevate. So when you are not in Ma'at, Set within you loves it. Comes to create chaos. But when you try and you endeavor and you intentionally, purposefully, consciously, on a daily basis, try to be in balance by living according to the laws of Ma'at, you've conquered Set. Now you're going to conquer Set every day, all day. That is an aspiration we all have. But remember, we are human we're spirit having a human experience, and you're not in this experience by yourself. Right? There are going to be other humans who may not be on your path. Matter of fact, when you purpose to live within Ma'at, when you purpose to invoke Ma'at within you, what usually happens? Set usually will manifest in the form of a human being who's going to do something to try to derail you. Isn't that always the case? But when you're conscious and intentional and you are aware and you are awakened, you recognize Set in the different people or situations around you, and you're able to say to yourself, you're coming at me and you're provoking me. Yes, I'm feeling angry because you provoked me. But you know what? I'm going to invoke emotional intelligence so that I'm not thrown off balance by you, you little fool. And you keep it moving. You've literally defeated Set. So Set is always going to be with you during this season of Ma'at. Because every time you try to get into balance, Set will watch and say, let me see if she's really in balance, and throw one at you. Lots of curveballs. Expect a lot of curveballs during the season of Ma'at. Just be conscious. Be emotionally intelligent. Be awakened to the fact that this is going on around you. And then you make a decision to stay balanced and to stay in Ma'at. Now, here's the thing that I want to fix really quickly. That book taught us that to be a good person means that if somebody slaps you on this cheek, you're going to give them the other cheek to slap. Is that balance? No. Ma'at says, you come for me, I come for you. Ma'at says, you kick me, I'm going to kick you back. Ma'at says, you steal from me, I'm going to come after you and I'm going to take what's mine back. The only person who will tell you to forgive your enemy is your enemy. Remember that. The only person who will tell you forgive your enemy 70 times, 70 times, 70 times is your enemy. The universe requires balance. Ma'at is balance and justice. Is it justice if somebody takes what's yours and you just go, oh, well, they took it? Are you a good person? No. Or you dumb cop. If somebody takes what's yours, go and take what's yours back. If they took it by force, you take it by force. If they took it with the barrel of a pow-pow, you take it by the barrel of a pow-pow. This is what shocks me. When people are expecting to negotiate with the colonizer and enslaver for their things, as if the enslaver came and negotiated to take from you. Did the colonizer not come and take by force? So if we're talking about balance, make it make sense that somehow we must now go and negotiate and expect that we get anything back. Guys, that's nonsense. That is absolute nonsense. It's not going to happen, and that's why we're still here today. South Africa, that's why we still have Orania. That is why we have DA, ANC, GNU nonsense. Why? Because we're colonized up here to believe that we can literally negotiate with a colonizer for our things that they took by force, by brute force, and killed. You think you're going to be exempt from doing the same? Let's not be naive, Bandabamnyam. We need to be realistic and honest. People were unalived in order for them creatures to take our stuff. Their forefathers unalived our forefathers. Their forefathers enslaved our forefathers. Therefore, you want your stuff back? Aren't you tired of singing Mama yeah, yeah, Mama yeah, Gumshaba, Mama yeah? We're busy singing, may they leave our land. It's going to be another 4 centuries, another 500 years with you singing that song and your children coming to sing that song if we don't get up and do what we got to do. Ma'at is balance, is justice. What happens on the left must happen on the right. What happens on the right must happen on the left, in order for there to be this balance. Am I making sense? Yeah, they took our answers by force. So why do we expect that it's going to come through negotiation? Why do we expect that? How do you appeal? How do you appeal to the conscience of someone who had the guts to kill and steal from you? You think they have a conscience you can appeal to now? Guys, we're playing games. We really think they have a conscience that we can appeal to now? They are entrenched. They're probably worse than their forefathers because now they're like, ish, these people are waking up. Daki is waking up. And while we are busy going, we've written some things down. Here's a policy document. You expect to win in a system that they created to beat you. This system was created to beat you. It was created to enslave and colonize you. It was created to keep you dumb and asleep. And you expect that you're going to write policy documents and give them to say, excuse me, this is what we would want. We want this back from you. Why are we begging for what's ours? Why? Like I said, you can't appeal to the conscience of someone who stole from you. Every day you watch this person stole your car. They're driving past in your Mercedes. And you go, yeah, man, this guy stole my car. Mm-hmm. Dude, you ambush the guy. You get the biggest machete that you can find and you get rid and take your things back. He will flaunt your car in front of you because you are dumb. Because he knows that what he has done to you mentally has you such that you are so disempowered and so weak as a spiritual being to take back what's yours. That's why they flaunt themselves in front of you. Look at the amazing homes that they've built on your forefathers' land. Look at the resorts that they have. Look at the plush farms that you have. And where are we? Abantu, we are in concentration camps. Kothembisa, Soweto, Kaelisha, Nongoma. They put us in concentration camps, concrete jungle, where if I breathe in my shack, you can feel my breath in your shack. Guys, I'm not laughing because I'm laughing to keep it light, but actually I'm a very angry person. Now I'm filled with rage and I'm ready for war. Yes, Ekai, I'm coming home soonest. Jesus, the only car. When I God, get off my life. Jesus, don't get us started. Like you're really in the wrong place to be writing. Jesus, the only car to wear. Are you a black person? And you are. This is pathetic. Anyway, I see you're old, so I can understand that you are one of those who's still back there. But please don't come on my live writing that name. That name is a curse word. Jesus. I bet you've got a nice picture of him, blonde and blue-eyed, on your wall, looking like Imvana. Go away. Yes. Yes. We must stop following these political leaders because remember what they are. Political leaders are placed there to manage black anger. That's all. They have zero power. Y'all think they have power to change your lives. Y'all think they have power to change. The system in which they are functioning is created against umuntu omnyama. No matter what they try. They cannot ever do anything for Tina. Anything that they've ever done are the tiny crumbs that they've been given to pacify us. Understand that, black child. As for those of us also out in the diaspora, same goes. These systems were never created for us, Bagwantu. They were created for the colonizer and the enslaver. And on that I stand. Our politicians know that they are useless. They know that they are managers and they know that they are nothing but pawns on a chessboard and they know who the real bosses are. But they have decided, they made a conscious decision to sell out at times where they had enough leverage to change things. Look at Traore. I'm going to keep talking about my boy Traore. That one is a king. See, he's not a politician. He's a king. Forget the military gear that you see. He's a king. Because that is how the kings of old moved. They made sure that they protected the house. They made sure that everybody in the house was fed, was clothed, was looked after, medical care, schools, everything was in order before they took care of themselves. That man took a pay cut. In his high army rank, he took a pay cut, and he cut he was the first to take, and then he cut the paychecks of all his officers. And he said, it's a new day. We don't need all of this stuff, but our people do. That is a king. I'm going to talk, I don't want to carry on, but I'm going to talk about African royalty vis-a-vis the feather of Maat, which you sometimes see her wearing on her head. Because kings of old, even now, modern day kings wear it, but even they don't know the real meaning of why you are wearing that feather in your head. Many of them don't even understand why they have the leopard skin or the lion skin as part of their regalia. When we talk about royalty, which we have to in the context of Maat, when I next come live, I will explain these things to you. But I hope that you guys have learned. I hope that you guys are feeling what I'm feeling. I taste, I can smell freedom. I taste it. It has to come from within you first, right? So let's do the necessary work to align ourselves, the necessary work to vomit the toxins of colonization. Once you do that, the rest that we're looking for is history. That unity will be so automatic. You know, when you're vibing at the same, when all of you are vibrating at that same frequency, immediately you're united. The petty things that divide us will be just that, petty. We continue to focus on the petty things that divide us because we're not fully aligned and we're not fully conscious, we're not intentional, we're not living intelligently. The minute we start doing that, each wherever you are, I'm telling you, we are forced to reckon with. So on that note, I'm on a high. I'm leaving you here. I'm going to have some positive news for you very soon. The English version is ready. It's almost out. I'm going to keep you in suspense for a little bit longer. But the English version of the calendar book, The 12 Principles by Mkhulu Nsingiza, is ready. It's out. You're going to be able to order wherever you are in the diaspora in Englishes. We have to use English, guys. What are we going to do? We have to use the spell. But you see, we are alchemists. We are the original alchemists. So what was meant to destroy us is that one thing that is going to liberate and unite us. They didn't see this one coming, did they? They were teaching us all this colonial language in the hopes that they would keep us apart, little knowing that the day was coming where we were going to need that ancestral knowledge, and the only way we were going to access it was using their rubbish languages. Until we develop our own classical African unifier language, we are going to use these Englishes to do unspeakable things. That is a quote from Chinua Achebe, the great literary god, Chinua Achebe. And on that note, I love you guys. Masithokozeni, hotep, Ucamagwini, Lesedi Khanya, Tobela. See you guys on the next one. By the way, this is going up on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment, share. Guys, if you follow me here on TikTok, please go and like, subscribe. I'm dying to do story time. I said when we get to 10K, we're going to do story time. Please go and like, subscribe. It's free, it's free. Nobody is begging for your money. Go and subscribe over that side and comment. And binge watch. There's a whole bunch of videos you can binge watch. Like I've got, I don't know how many videos are up there for days on different lessons. Go and binge watch. If you have Wi-Fi, play my videos while you're washing your dishes. Let the ads play. Revenue, guys, revenue is the revenue we are looking for so that we can produce these wonderful things for you. So please don't skimp on the ads. Just get up and go get a drink while the ad is playing. But that's how the revenue comes in. Yeah? On that note, love you guys. I'm off. I'm gone for real this time. Bye.